Welcome everyone to the Nerd Nook. I'm your host, Evan Teague, and with me, like always, is Noah Bailey. So, starting off today, I want to discuss the fact that Star Wars The Acolyte has officially been canceled after the first season.
Oof.
And obviously, it's no secret that we weren't the biggest fans of this show. We thought it had a lot of potential, but it just didn't do it for us. But yeah, I'm pretty sure during that review we did say several times that like with more seasons it could kind of come into itself and have time to actually impress us and build on it. But it's just Disney said no, you don't get that chance.
Yeah, this is interesting because it seems so abrupt, but not as fast as you would have thought. It's one of those things where it's like if they were gonna do it this early, you thought they would have done it as soon as the show was over. But a few weeks went by, you thought, okay, I guess they're gonna go into it. JK, we're done, and it's like, oh, never mind. I guess we
Yeah,
did learn that that's next season.
yeah, and like that's just that's just part of the major problems of streaming shows nowadays is because you can't rely on commercials and like other different ways of and like DVD sales and like other different ways of getting revenue from this show existing. If the first season doesn't like meet whatever arbitrary numbers you want it to meet viewership wise, because viewership wise, and then like new subscribers, those are the only real metrics you have to judge these shows on. If they don't hit that and there isn't enough fan outcry to justify a second season, then it just kind of they decide it's not worth it, and that sucks. I think.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely makes it harder for shows, which is already tough because I feel like it's really hard to get a show off the ground in the first place. But
Oh yeah.
it's also weird because it's like, well, it's like there was this big thing of like, let's make this happen, let's do this, and then it's like,
Mhm.
yeah, we don't love this. Ah, it'll be great. It's like very openly supporting it, and then it's like, nah, cancel. It's kind
Right.
of like as long as it's still streaming, it's the greatest thing. And then like as soon as it's done streaming, yeah, we didn't like it either, kind of thing. It's like
Yeah.
stuff with that.
And I just
That's
want
what
to go
you.
on record saying that like it sucks that the show that got so much vitriol from the worst kinds of people got canceled, and I wanted to like it in more, if for no other reason than to spite those people. But unfortunately, I just couldn't bring myself to love it. Like,
Yeah,
it just didn't do what I wanted it to do at almost every single point I wanted it to do it at. It just kind of fell apart at the end.
yeah, and again, that's like yeah, it's yes, there was unnecessary hate that the show did not deserve. However, that also doesn't mean that the show was good. It
Right.
just wasn't bad. It wasn't bad for no reason, but it was bad for a specific reason or two,
Yeah.
or however many we need.
Yeah.
So
Like my roommate and I, we were like talking about the show getting canceled yesterday, and like we had basically it'd been like probably at least a month at that point. We are just going back over all the things that we liked and disliked about it. And like after 30 minutes, I turned to him and was like, "Now notice that we've got this through this entire discussion without mentioning any of the things that the idiots complain about. Like those aren't the things that we focus on. That doesn't matter to our criticisms at all." But but regardless of if you feel like this show was good or bad or you're neutral on it, whatever, I still feel like any show, any creative team should be allowed to at least try to bring their whole vision, you know, eventually, to the screen. Because imagine if um Clone Wars had if the Clone Wars movie, that kind of terrible movie, had just released on streaming, people saw it, hated Ahsoka existing, hated the art style, hated just thought the baby was annoying, just like all these things that were just not great about it. Imagine if
True.
that was the things that fans focused on so much, and like because it wasn't in theaters, because it wasn't getting a DVD release, it didn't show on Cartoon Network. Like there's all these different ways that it can't get further revenue. Disney just saw that people didn't like it. It got historically low numbers, which also the Acolyte apparently didn't even like have that low of a viewer numbers, mostly for people who actually did like it, but also people who are hate watching it, whatever. Like imagine if Clone Wars happened like that. That movie was the first thing that came out on streaming, and it was canceled immediately after the movie. Like even the first season and a half or so isn't like stellar.
It takes a while to get
solid, but like it's not the best. But season 3 on is really good.
Right, and like the thing, like kind of it takes a minute to get cooking, and it's like maybe give it a chance. Now that's not to say every show that starts off bad deserves multiple seasons, but
sure.
If we're judging things off of if in 8 episodes we don't wow, it's like if you don't in 8 episodes just wow people, you're done. And I feel like that's in a lot of ways has bad repercussions in all the way because one, it's like impossible to get a show going because if your first season doesn't knock people's socks off, they don't want you. And also too, it's like it feels like shows are, especially I've noticed with a lot of other shows and even anime sometimes, it's like people are like, if I don't like it by the first 2 episodes, it's not worth watching. And it's like, whoa, okay,
yeah.
I get there needs to be attention grabbers and things like that, but it's also come on now, this is you gotta give it a little time to develop.
Yeah, although I will say I agree with your point that you should stick with the show to a conclusion to fully judge it. However, with this show specifically, I did really dislike the 3rd episode. But then episode 4 and 5 picked up, and then I like 6, and then 7 was also
and 7 was also not bad.
The last episode was cool-ish, but then didn't. Oh, whatever. But because I have seen the entire thing, I feel like I am actually able to judge it for its entirety, not watch the first 2 episodes and then nitpick every little thing, say the whole show sucks.
Right.
That's not how you do it.
Yeah, and and there are things even early on you could point out because I remember even at the beginning I was like the sister thing should have been revealed way later because revealing in the first episode was that was your best card and you played it immediately.
Yeah,
and I feel like wow, and I feel like that's one of the reasons that's one of those things where they're so I'm so focused on not losing my audience. I got to play my best card immediately, and then it's that was a good card, but if you had to use it, if that had been a twist in episode 4 or 5, that would have been, I think, way better. Because I don't know, I think that's just what it is.
I think even if it's just at the end of episode 2, is when you reveal they're twins, because even I do agree it should be further on, but end of episode 1. All the stuff that happens in episode 2, there's almost no tension because you see May walk into that room with the guy in the coma, and we the audience are we supposed to be confused about who this is? No, we're not. So why? So what's the point?
Who is this for? Right? Yeah.
And then as soon as Osha walks in, very stupidly touches the murder weapon. And then she's immediately accused. Obviously, we know that's wrong. And then Killmonger over there is like, no, she didn't do it. Then everyone's like, okay, I guess she didn't do it. That whole scene serves no purpose now because no one cares that she did or didn't do it anymore.
It was almost like bad plot device baiting you, bad plot baiting you. It's we're gonna do the stupid thing where the person who's clearly innocent does something that makes them look clearly guilty. that no actual
Mhm.
innocent person would ever do in a real situation.
Right.
Like, they think I shot him. Let me pick up the gun and see. Like, bro, what?
Hmm.
Like,
Right.
don't
I feel you
touch the
could have done
murder
a cool
weapon.
thing where like the sister, if you had kept the twin thing a secret, you had the sister have to try to prove that she isn't a twin. Even the audience is kind of questioning it, and you see Osha see May in the crowd far away, and she's like there she you chase after her, and there's a big chase sequence, and then by the end of it, May gets away, and she's like, oh no, I feel like there's a way to do it where you
Ooh.
have multiple episodes where the audience is questioning along with May if is she
Right.
crazy? Is she actually a twin? What is going on here? Is she actually
Right.
innocent? Does she do does she some kind of dual personalities? There's
right.
so many ways you could do it well, but it just wasn't done the best.
That'd be kind of cool. Almost if it was almost like she's like hallucinating another person, but also it's almost like Moon Knight, kind of like her alter ego
Yeah,
somehow.
exactly.
Like she can also, yeah.
Yeah,
But then it turns
that's
out, oh, there are two of them.
yeah. And our roommate pointed out it could be have a it would be a very different show, but if you wanted to delve more into the Sith lore that this show really wanted to get into but didn't have time to do because they have 8 episodes and at least 2 of them are flashback. Um, if you wanted to delve more into into the what the Sith can really do, you can maybe kind of do a thing where there either is or was an evil twin who is actually possessing her. Kind of like what Palpatine was trying to do with Rey, but failed in Episode 9. Obviously, I hate that movie, but there's some things in that movie that could be expanded on, like the whole dyad thing. I thought they were going to go into that with them being twins. I thought that was going to be ever mentioned, but no. Instead, they called it a vergence, and it's this other thing, but it's similar, but it's not. Whatever. But you have this Sith basically possessing her to to try to get her on his side, either knowingly or unknowingly, or like a Jekyll and Hyde situation. There's so many more interesting ways you could do it, and instead it just kind of falls flat because we know so early on that, oh, they're twins, she's innocent. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And the thing too is yeah, that feels like a really wasted opportunity because it's obviously in the real world you obviously got the same person to play two characters, so why not make that more of a opportunity to fool the audience, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
because it's you had it right there and there wasn't really I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
it is what it is,
Especially
but
since you did have that moment in Episode 1 where someone asks, "Oh, how what did you do last night?" She's like, "Don't worry about it." Clearly she's hiding something. No, it
yeah,
just literally didn't matter.
yo, that's what I'm saying. And I mean, and it's stuff like that. And it's they're using only the first 30 minutes of the show to divert you, keep you guessing. And it's why would you only do that for that little? Not do that for
Yeah.
way longer.
Mm-hmm.
That's half the show right there. Because as soon as you found out they were twins, the next 3 episodes were boring.
Yeah.
It's there's no yeah, it's tension for
Mm-hmm.
it's like watching the character no one I don't know, watching the characters play catch up is not fun, in my opinion.
Yeah.
When there's a mystery and you're kind of piecing it together with the characters a lot of the time, or if there's one piece you have that they don't, but it's not enough to give you everything,
Mm-hmm.
that's great. But I feel when you already have the solution and then you're just watching everyone else put the it's like knowing who did it's like watching the original murder in a whodunit as the first scene of the movie.
Right.
The whodunit's not interesting because you're just waiting for them to finally get the wheels turning to figure out who did it.
Mm-hmm.
It's you know what I mean? It's if you watch Knives Out, you immediately know oh, this is how it goes. And the movie's not interesting.
Right. But like even with that, I do feel like the other characters in those Knives Out movies are so fun and interesting to watch interact with each
Mhm.
other that even if you do kind of figure it out, or even if they right out told you, like you still are engaged with what's happening in the movie. I just didn't really get attached to any of the characters outside of Helmet Kid. The Sith guy. I don't
Yeah,
remember his
no,
name.
no idea.
Yeah, outside of
He was
the
pretty
main
cool.
yeah, the main Sith guy, I didn't really care for any of the other characters. With that being said, with more seasons, having more time for the Sith guy and Osha to actually interact and bond and do cool Sith things together, I think it kind of you know could have eventually become something very interesting. But the way it is set up right now, it just feels like in theory, let me back up just a second. In theory, having Darth Plagueis there the very like halfway through the last episode, just chilling in a cave. In theory, that's like foreshadowing for him, like puppet mastering these two for what they're going to be doing going forward. Like he's going to be a big deal later. Same thing with Yoda, I guess. I don't know why he's here or why he was presented like that, but I guess that's kind of what that's doing. But since we're not getting a second season, it literally feels like just 100% blatant fan service, and that's the only reason he's chilling in a cave.
To be fair, it kind of felt like that before it got canceled. Like as it happened, it felt like that. It
Oh,
felt
absolutely. But
very
like, at least you could
like,
say in hindsight it could have been something. But
I'm not
obviously,
giving them that. Like I'm not.
no. I mean, I fully believe there was a better way you could do Plague. It's like at the end
100%.
have have the Sith guy like basically like presenting Osha to Plagueis. He can still be chilling in the cave, but like presenting him to her to him while that green lady is like talking to Yoda. Like I feel again that like parallel of that that should of these two characters who logically exist in this time period. Like that could have worked, but instead it was just they were both separately put in the show at different points just to show you, hey, we didn't forget them. They're a Star Wars character who's in this. The only thing we forgot. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. There's definitely some misses there. It wasn't all bad, but definitely some misses. But
Yeah. Like the lightsaber duels in general, I thought were very solid.
yes, yes. Especially the
But
one in the four, like the forest to get the 1v like 10
yeah,
Jedi was pretty awesome.
yeah.
So I mean that was great, and like
Even
his
even the
good.
Soul versus the Sith at the in the last episode I
Yeah,
thought was pretty good. But not every episode has that level of cool action happening. And if you don't love the characters that are interacting in between those moments, it just kind of falls flat.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
And
also
again,
like
just to
the
give the show the benefit of the doubt, like almost no one liked Ahsoka in the first two seasons of Clone Wars. But by the end
it's
of the
true.
show, she's a fan favorite now, which people seem to gaslight themselves into forgetting that. Like the same people who complain about X, Y, and Z thing about new Star Wars hated her when she first showed up in 2008. Like
Yeah.
any one of these things could become a fan favorite if they were given, the time and ability to do so.
And it was for the same reasons, because at the time, oh, this breaks the canon, because Anakin didn't have a Padawan or anything
Yep.
to that knowledge, and like, oh, it's she's a girl, this breaks the canon, all the same kind of
Mm,
complaints, I guess. So it's like, granted, that was a different, it was a different kind of show, but still, it's like
yeah.
it works out if given the right time. But to be fair, I don't think everything that starts out bad can recover as well as Clone Wars did.
Right. Yeah. And not to mention, it's not exactly shocking that taking a $180 million risk, they don't want to make that risk a second time. you know,
Yeah.
especially considering since it hasn't already been greenlit for a second season, production hasn't gotten well underway to release the second season next year or the year after, probably. Like these shows don't just, especially live action Disney Plus shows, don't just pop up out of nowhere. They take like a couple of years to make. Season two would be like 2026 at the earliest. So any hype for for the first season, unless you're Loki, people aren't really gonna care to come. It's like that's one of the only live action Disney Plus shows I can think of that has gotten a second season like actually released, and like that's a really good one. But like because the first season is so beloved, like it was that and WandaVision are kind of fighting for the best season of Disney Plus stuff. Um, but like it's only because that first season is so good that season two was able to wait 3 years and actually still
Yeah.
still have that fan base really liking it. I don't know if a lukewarm reaction to the Acolyte could generate that same hype in a second season.
Most likely not. Like if they really wanted to, they definitely could have. But like, yeah, they did not. Because I mean, the way the show ends is very cliffhangery. So
Mm,
it's like you kind of had to, but they were like, well, I guess yeah. I mean, it's like yeah, cut your losses.
yeah, but I also feel like this might be a the Marvels situation where they're going to learn the wrong lessons from this failure. It's not that we don't like we as a collective like worldwide audience. We It's not that we don't like representation or women led shows or what like any X Y and Z thing. It's how about instead of pouring 180, 200, 250 million dollars into these projects that you don't know are going to be hits with writing that is not the best. I like the Marvels more than most, but it's still there. The movie does have some issues. How about you instead, put half of that into a show that you like put more time into and like actually I just I just fear that, a lot of other especially Star Wars stuff going forwards are not really going to take risks and they're going to, do stuff like how Robert Downey Jr. is coming back to play Doctor Doom instead of, trying to get someone new in there to like I feel like that whether it's consciously or unconsciously is a direct reaction to how the Marvels did, where like people didn't like that, so let's play it safe from here on and bring RDJ back. I don't know.
Yeah, still don't love that either. But
No, no.
yeah, I mean, we'll see how they do. I mean, my thing is the lesson is write better shows. I mean that's the lesson, but it's like, is it ever that simple for people to get? Because sometimes
No.
like they'll look everywhere for the problem right under their nose, and it's kind of like,
Yeah.
mm,
And like I said, it's kind of hard just to say write better shows because there is a pretty sizable group of people that did really like it. I think I said this in review. I do kind of question the validity of how much they like it if they not essentially just tricking themselves into liking it to spite the people that don't like it. Like you
yeah,
can find joy, you can find an enjoyment in this show. Absolutely, I can easily see where people would really, really like it. But I can't possibly fathom you liking it so much that like to the fervor that these people are saying they do online, seemingly just to spite and drown out the people that are being annoying about it. So So it's kind of hard to say write better stuff when there is a group of people that does really like it. But I feel like there's an equally valid group of people that don't like it for valid reasons. So I don't know. I understand writing shows and stuff is tricky, but it's like just get better writers. I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean I mean, I'm not sitting here saying I could write a better show, like per se, although maybe. But it's one of those things where it's like that's also like the job. It's like you know what
Yeah,
I mean? It's kinda like, if you haven't if you're at the Olympics and you don't win gold, well, what am I doing wrong? It's like kinda just gotta be better, man. Like that's kinda
yeah,
all there is to it.
right.
Like you kinda just have to do better.
Yeah, and from what I understand, this was the first Disney Plus Star Wars show that actually had like a writer's room. It had a showrunner. Like yeah, The Mandalorian had Jon Favreau like kind of at the helm, but he wasn't. It wasn't. From what I understand, that Obi-Wan and all the other Star Wars shows so far haven't been written like in the same way as standard television was, where there was a pilot, like a showrunner who had final say on everything, who had like a team of writers like who, like for every episode they bounced ideas around. They had an actual writers' room, whereas the Acolyte actually had that. And again, I really hope Disney doesn't get the wrong idea of how. I hope they don't think that's the problem, because I do think that writing shows in ways that other shows have done well with is how you should probably do it. But not but just like with everything else that exists, not every show that does it that way is great. So
Right.
let's make one that's good next time. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see how they do, but yeah, it's one of those things that, like, yeah, maybe we'll see what they go next. I'm not sure what their next project's going to be, but we'll see how, or at least what his next new idea, I guess, is going to be.
Yeah.
But
Like I'm looking forward to the Skeleton Crew. The first trailer for that looked pretty solid, I think. Um, like basically the Goonies, or it had like a very 80s kind of like feel to it, and I think that feels right for a Star Wars. It's some of those come out in the 80s.
yeah,
Um, yeah, like the Goonies and Star Wars seems like a good idea. And Jude Law is always cool, so sure.
yeah, I mean,
That's coming out this December, so hopefully that is at least a moderate success. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, yeah, especially a new kind of fresh. That's kind of a take we haven't really had in a while. Kind of really felt like old timey, like Star Wars '80s vibes. So maybe that's what we need. Maybe we're trying to be doing too much with trying to be too modern.
Yeah, maybe. Yep.
Maybe.
So kind of sticking with that, since our last podcast episode, the D23 showcase thing happened. And along with the Skeleton Crew trailer, there was a bunch of other either new things announced, trailers for things that are new, just a bunch of fun stuff announced. Um, we're gonna start with the Pixar stuff, and the I would say main thing from the Pixar segment is that Incredibles 3 is officially in production.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, we'll see. I'll see. I don't know. We'll see. It's one of those things where like you kind of knew they were going for three because no one just stops at two, really.
Especially
But
when
it's
two made
like,
$1 billion.
yeah, I mean, there's a lot of reasons for it, obviously, but it's also, and again, I do like these movies. Obviously, the first one I think is better, but I think the second one also did really well, and I think this one could potentially be also. I'm interested to see what plot point they go with because it feels they kind of rounded out again, like in the first movie, kind of ended on a pretty even note. Maybe they'll be like college age for like Violet, probably.
I am hoping for a massive time jump.
Okay.
like yeah, at least Violet being in college, like a solid 4 or 5 years. I don't know exactly what grade she was in, but like a solid, you know, several
She
years
felt like
where
she felt like 14, 15, so like probably like freshman,
yeah,
sophomore high school. Probably. So
right.
yeah, a couple years. Maybe they're both in college. I don't know. Like I don't know how I feel though. If, like Jack's just like a kid now, not like a toddler. Like it is gonna feel weird. And
Yeah,
also, what kind of does he still have all the powers?
I hope not. I hope there's some BS explanation where like when he got older, he kind of came into just one single power or like just like one or two powers. Because the duplication one, I think I draw the line at duplication. That was the dumbest power because all the other powers he was shown in that movie were at least present in the Jack Tag Attacks special thing, like the
Yeah,
laser vision, the teleportation, the obviously transmorphing, but duplication was I think that was a step too far.
like he had what 17, I think,
It was
powers was it
17,
total?
yeah, yeah.
It's so ridiculous.
Which
Well,
I
the thing
think
and the thing,
they kind of fudged that a little bit, being like him turning into fire, him turning into a monster, him turning into the iron. Like I think those were each powers, but still,
I mean, I would consider though. I mean, it's hard because I guess shape shifting. I feel like shape shifting doesn't include turning into like metal. You know what I mean? I guess it depends on the level of shape shifting, but like it's
yeah,
not like Martian Manhunter can just turn into like steel. You know what I mean?
maybe.
I don't think.
I actually, huh, not
I don't
exactly
think
sure
so.
how it works. Yeah, I think it might just
I'm
be
not
organic
either.
stuff, but yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
so it's like that feels like that's more like Colossus type stuff. So that's like a
yeah,
different power set. But
yeah.
anyway,
Mm,
yeah, I think Incredible 3 also like I think it could be really good. As one of those, it's a very much beloved franchise. The characters are solid, and
mm,
I feel like they're gonna do a good job. Like they're not gonna. Hopefully, they're not just gonna phone it in. I don't think they will. I think they're gonna take their time, really write it well. And
mm.
Pixar's kind of on fire with after seeing Inside Out 2, I feel like Pixar is going to be just fine.
Yeah, I
But,
would like to agree with that. Um, like with how obviously the first one is mostly Bob's story, the second one is mostly Helen's story. I kind of hope they focused on one of the kids. Like obviously, I don't want a
oh,
Monsters U situation where it's this movie but in college, but like superhero college could be something that could
that
be a cool
does
concept.
sound pretty cool. I mean, yeah, that's. I mean, they've made plenty of shows about that. So like, yeah, I
Hmm.
mean, that just sounds like a cool thing.
Yeah.
Although, do you think
Plus,
there's a because the
yep.
movie ends with superpowers being like allowed, right? Or like supers are back, right? Isn't that how it ends?
I'm pretty sure it was. Yeah.
I remember. So like, yeah, that would be a good, like superhero like academy or something, college slash academy.
Yeah.
Like they're all. That would be kind of cool, actually. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. And like you could like actually having because another kind of issue with the second one is you didn't really get Violet or Dash interacting with other people their age. And I know that's not really it's not their movie. They're basically, like
They're
they're
kids,
they're supporting cast, I get it, but like outside of Tony,
right?
Violet didn't seem to really have any friends that she interacted with, and Dash didn't really either. So having Violet in this college setting, meeting new people, interact with people with other powers, like kind of like I think the other people in the family can be involved somehow, but I kind of want Mr. Mr. Incredible to kind of not be
Take the
in
back
most
seat
of
this
it this
time.
time. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's fair because they both had their own kind of movie. So yeah, I think it would focus on. Do you think should focus on just Violet or kind of all the kids, or at least Violet and Dash? I guess 'cause Jack Dash probably
At
still
least
too small.
Violet, like Dash. Also, I mean, yeah, that is kind of tricky because part of the fun of the movies is seeing Violet and Dash, interact together. But with her being off in college,
Right. Yeah.
she wouldn't, you wouldn't be there.
Then again, he
Maybe
could
that.
just run over there to mess with her.
Yeah, that's true.
Can you imagine
Uh,
that?
I
He
mean,
like
he
calls her,
easily
she doesn't
could.
answer. He runs to her college, pick up the phone,
Uh,
runs back, and like,
yeah, I mean, you could even have a thing where like Dash kind of has to realize how much he needs his sister. Like, now that she's away, you know, like he kind of always, even like he obviously, had his parents protect him. He never realized just how much, he relied on his sister to literally and figuratively protect him. So without her being there, he kind of has to deal with that. I think that could be something.
great, yeah. And I think, yeah, it'd be a good plot point for him. And then for her, you can, yeah, going to college. Maybe she's trying to like make it work with her boyfriend back home, but there's issues with that. Not that that should be like the main plot point, but that could be like a relatable, tough experience, I guess,
Yeah.
while obviously other plot points are going on. But
Right. Yeah. And like, I wouldn't even be super mad if it's like some super generic thing where like, oh, the principal of or the dean of the college is actually a bad guy.
I was literally thinking the same thing. Like, well, yeah, and it turns out the school principal's evil, like, syndrome or some syndrome's like cousin or something. I don't
Right.
know, somehow. So, so like the most like mustache twirling, unnecessary
Yeah.
thing, or like syndrome's like long lost kid or something, even though I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, cool.
There's a lot of
That
ways they
would
could
be
take
cool.
it, and I have no reason to doubt that it'll at least be pretty solid, at least before we get any kind of premise at all. Probably gonna be at least a couple of years before it comes out. So
Oh, yeah.
probably 27. I would imagine 2027 at the earliest,
Yeah, probably
because
give them
yeah,
time to
because we know that
storyboard
Toy
it.
Story 5 is coming out in 2026. So this could be the one after that, 3 years. That might
Most
be enough
likely,
time.
yeah.
Yeah.
Toy Story
Um,
5.
Stick with Pixar stuff. The one like brand new original IP Pixar thing they announced is a movie called Hoppers. It's a movie about a girl who switches her brain with the beavers to learn their secrets. Sure. Why not?
I mean, see, this is one of those things that like people are like, we need original ideas. Come on, like we can't make it cut 5 Toy Stories. Let's move on. And then you get like, oh, okay, maybe Toy Story 5 is not a terrible idea because it's
I
like,
mean, like on paper, any given movie can sound weird or bad if you just give it the like
agreed,
even Inside Out
agreed.
or what like any given movie it could sound lame or dumb, but you know,
Agreed, but still, it's one of those things where you're like, man, this is gonna have to be some like premise because like on paper this sounds really stupid. Like it's just I don't know, and then, like and you're right, especially Pixar movies, they sound very like they're not super like
Mhm.
it's like a movie about toys is sounds kind of dumb,
Yeah. I saw
and then you realize
there's this
oh the
obviously
toy is a
there's this
particle.
running gag where it's like every single Pixar movie. It's like, what if toys had feelings? What if monsters had feelings? What if cars had feelings? What if
What
feelings
is
had
feelings
feelings?
and feeling? Yeah, I've
Now it's
seen
what if
that.
beavers had feelings?
See, and like you had me, and I'm just like, oh my, I don't know. It's like I feel like we had other concept before we went to like beavers specifically. Like I get like the Secret Life of Pets kind of stole pets, kind
Yeah.
of, but like I feel like there's steps before we get to like beavers,
Yeah.
and like
Like
yeah, we did.
I guess they don't really want to cross over too
I
much
mean,
into Zootopia's territory.
yeah, but like I mean, okay, so wait. So we've done if fish have feelings, obviously.
Hmm.
Have we done if birds have feelings? Am I forgetting? Like the
Uh,
bird Pixar movie?
huh.
I feel like that's like the next logical step, right?
No, because there have been other animated studios that have done it. Storks,
Right.
that migration movie last year. Um, there was a pelican in Finding Nemo. He had feelings.
Well, yeah, but you know what I mean? Like that kind of that's where I kind of got the connection. Like, oh, well, birds are a thing. Because like, I mean, we've done bugs, we've done birds, we or not birds, we've done bugs, we've done like other animals and stuff like that. So it's like,
Mm,
I mean, that could work. Or like,
yeah,
I don't know. It's kind of hard because it's like you got to find a concept that wasn't directly used. Like, you can't be like, what if we had animals at the zoo? And then Madagascar was like, bro. But then it's
yeah,
also like that feels very like you could easily just stumble upon something extremely similar and it works just fine.
right. I
So
mean,
like I don't know, Beavers feels like it was not the first or second. You could have come out with something better than Beavers. I feel like in my head.
yeah. I'm kind of annoyed they already used their dinosaur bullet because the good dinosaur is not very good. It's not a very good movie.
I forgot
They
that
can't really
movie
just do that
existed.
because they're not going to get a sequel because they're no, but they
No,
can't just do
no, it's
another dinosaur movie.
I mean, you kind of could though. I mean, is anyone really going to be upset? Especially if you change the
No,
animation.
yeah, I don't. And that movie is so weak. Like literally almost no memories of it at all. Like
Oh,
nothing happens
weak.
in that entire movie.
Ooh, eek. Oh man. Yeah, we've done what appliances have feelings with Beauty. Or, I guess that's Beauty and the Beast. It's not really Pixar,
Yeah.
but like trying to think like what else?
Elemental entities.
Oh
Elemental.
yeah, elements have feelings,
Uh,
which that's
yeah. Dead
oh,
people with Coco.
oh
What
gee.
that? Do dead people have feelings? The answer is
I
actually
mean,
yes.
you're not wrong, but oof. The dead people, we did like yeah, we did a lot. I'm trying to think. What about have we done books yet?
No, that would be. Hmm.
I feel like there's something with talking books in it. Or am I just or is that am I thinking of something from like PBS from my childhood probably?
Between the Lions had
That's what I was thinking. I was like,
sure.
is that what I'm thinking of? And like
I'm sure they did. Yeah. Um,
probably it's been about
yeah.
20 years I
But
can run it back.
but
But I don't know. I'm
but
just thinking of random stuff.
like I mean, Hopper's looks like the little like still images we got and stuff. Like it looks charming. Like I don't. The premise itself seems like it seems dumb, but it could be a fun kind of dumb. You know, like
That's
there's
true.
other
I mean,
ways you could
how do
take
they
it. Yeah.
yeah. And that does make sense because it's like it's one of those things where, yeah, I mean, like we said, if they go with it the right way, it doesn't matter if it's a stupid premise. Like it's very simple.
Yeah. So probably at least a couple of years before that comes out. So we'll see. The last Pixar thing is there will be a series called Dream Productions, which will be a show revolving around the dreams that Riley has from Inside Out.
I like
Yeah,
it.
more Inside Out stuff is always good,
That's
especially after
literally.
Inside Out 2 is in striking distance of Lion King. Like it's only 40 million away. I know it's probably not actually gonna make
Boring.
it since it's like it's
I was about to say, is it
nearing the
anywhere
nearing
still
the
playing?
it's I doubt it. Not enough to like, especially with other movies out. Probably not quite enough. But Lion King is like 1.66. This is 1.62. which is crazy. The Inside Out
Yes.
2 made $1.6 billion.
Out of I mean, not out of nowhere, but like no one thought it was gonna be this good. Like,
Yeah, it like truthfully, it made $1 billion more than I thought it would make. I thought it would be in the 600 to 700 million range.
I was thinking like 800 because like I think people really realized it was good, but like yeah, to double that
Yeah,
casually is kind of insane.
yeah, yeah. Uh, but yeah, that'll give them plenty of opportunities to get really creative with just a bunch of fun ideas. Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I think it could be a lot of fun.
Yeah, potentially add new emotions again. I mean, who knows?
Mhm. All right, moving on. They officially announced that Frozen 3 will be releasing in 2027, which is
Mm-hmm.
hilarious because that is actually a longer time between Frozen 2 and 3 than it was between Frozen 1 and 2.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, what was Frozen 2?
Frozen 1 released in 2013, Frozen 2 in
Right.
2019. That's 6 years. Between 19 and 27, that's 8 years.
Oh,
It's wild.
Frozen 2 was 19?
Yeah.
Frozen 2 feels like 2022 in my head, and I don't know why. Like, that feels.
Yeah, it was that year where every single Disney movie that came out made $1 billion. They had like 8 of them.
It was a good. Yeah, that was the end game year. That was like,
Yeah.
yeah,
That was
everything
Endgame,
was.
Marvel, Toy Story 4, Aladdin, Lion King, Frozen, Spider Man, like the hit
Dude,
after
they were
hit.
eating.
Star Wars technically made up just over $1 billion. Like
Yeah,
they were,
like just game over.
yeah, yeah. Like if that year hadn't happened, there's a chance we might be seeing a very different Disney right now after COVID. Like if they didn't have that war chest to work off of, then who
Yeah,
knows? But it's fine.
yeah, I mean, oh yeah, that's true, but
They wouldn't have
billions of
$180 million lying around to waste on the Acolyte. Who knows?
right? Doesn't get greenlit after all. Oh my gosh.
Um,
But yeah, I mean, but yeah, that's kind of crazy to think Frozen 3 is pretty long too. But I guess to be fair, Frozen, the fact that Frozen movies it's going to be 14 years in between
mhm. Yeah, and
is
then
kind of
Frozen
insane.
4 is also in the work, so I guess they're hoping for a shorter
Wait,
period of time
wait,
between
wait,
movies
wait.
after.
4?
Yeah, they were 3 and 4. Yeah,
All right. I mean,
yeah,
I get it because like Frozen basically prints money, but at the same time, it's like the fact that we're already like, oh yeah, we're going for 4, even though we just announced 3, is like okay.
yeah. I agree.
It's just, but like I don't know. Well, it's weird 'cause it's like the people who grew up like because by the time this movie comes out, the people who like grew up watching Frozen are gonna be like older, and I know that's kind of Pixar's thing now. Like, hey, these people
Not
have
Pixar,
jobs,
but Disney in
or
general.
not Pixar, but Disney. Yeah, sorry,
Yeah,
I get them. I get them easily. They're yeah, but
yeah.
I know that's kind of Disney's thing with like, hey, these people have jobs now. Let's take more of their money.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like, I mean, yeah, I mean, I think about it because it's like 2013. Like, if I was like, say, if you're like, 6 years old in 2013, by the time this movie comes out, you're
You're in
what?
college. You're in college. You're 10.
Yeah, like you're like a sophomore in college, and they're like, yeah, I don't know the first Frozen came out, but then again, I think about when the first Incredibles came out, I was like what 6, maybe 7. I don't remember math, but
Came out in
and
'04,
now
so you would have been,
yeah, so like
yeah,
yeah, like
six-ish.
7, so like yeah, and then literally now we have Incredibles 3 coming out in 2 years, and I'll be much older than oh God, I'll be 30. Oh,
Almost
we're gonna
30.
dude,
Yeah, we'll
will
be
we be
30 by the
30
time
by
Incredibles.
then?
No, no, we're not. We're not gonna
Dude,
be 30. That's not gonna happen. Nah.
30? Oh
No.
my gosh. And you know what's crazy? I'm gonna be 30 years old. Like, yeah, I was 30 years old. Like, are we finally gonna see what Frozo's wife looks like? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like asking little, quite the stupid questions. And
Uh-huh.
the kids are watching the movie. I'm like, shut up, kid. I'm watching my, you know. But hey,
Uh-huh.
we go. Listen, we get older, but we never grow up. That's what
Yes,
matters.
absolutely. um, so yeah, Frozen 3 2027. They officially confirmed that the second season of the Percy Jackson show is releasing next year. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, what is it? I cannot. Walker Scoville, I think is the main character's actor's name. He literally sounded like a different person in the in the little teaser for it. Like I heard like little sound bites back to back. Like he sounds very different, but honestly, the way he sounds now is way closer to how I imagine Percy sounding in the book. So that's cool.
Like the
Um,
progression, it's like
hmm,
I was saying, like the progression with the actors, seeing them getting older. You're like, oh man, now it's like all coming together.
it is going to be interesting to see exactly how they structure the show because, like, very light spoilers is like there's this big deal about this prophecy that happens at least in the books when Percy turns 17, but and like every book is like takes place 6 months after the previous one, more or less. Like it's like every solstice something happens. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so I wonder if they're gonna do it like if they're gonna either age that up or if they're just gonna pretend like it's only 6 months after the last one. Because usually Lightning Thief, the book that the first season was based on, happens uh the summer, like June, and then the second one is that winter, I think, or is that one a year after? Maybe it's a year after. That regardless, it's gonna be interesting to see, like especially with seasons after, like how they're gonna go about the timeline of the show, like, if they're gonna make him older because he sounds very different now. But anyway, um, we got a little teaser for the Thunderbolts. They haven't officially released the trailer, I think, but at least like they showed this trailer at the D23 conference. Have you seen any part of this trailer at all?
Oh, a little bit, not a ton.
Yeah. The action sequences that they showed looked really good, I thought. However, I could not get over the fact that the costumes look really weird now. Like, say what we will about the Taskmaster from Black Widow, I thought the suit looked pretty good. Obviously, it wasn't like the full on skull face that Taskmaster usually has, but I thought it was like a pretty good uh what's the word, like if you're gonna make it like an armored mask, I thought they at least kind of kept the same basic features of the skull mask more or less accurate. Looks completely different now. Same with Ghost. I thought Ghost's suit from Ant-Man and the Wasp looked really cool. Now it's just like a white helmet with like three little dots that kind of look like the mask thing, with just three little dots. Like it doesn't. It just kind of lacks personality. Um, and that's kind of how I feel with a lot of the suits. Like Red Guardian's suit looks way more like militarized and just weirder. Um, so that's a thing. But like I said, the action specifically, we saw like a little fight between Yelena, uh, U.S. agent, and Ghost. Maybe Taskmaster was there
Mm-hmm.
too. Like we saw like a little scuffle between them, I guess, when they first all meet up. Like the the cinematography of just like how things happen, I thought looked really solid. So I think I can get over the way the costuming looks enough to appreciate that when it comes out. So yeah,
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, from what we've seen so far, I don't see anything I don't like. I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, oh, this could be really good after all. I'm still skeptical, like, obviously, until we see more. But I mean, let's see what we got right now.
yeah, like nothing bad, but like not outside of that one little action sequence, nothing's like blown me away yet. Although the chances of a Thunderbolts blowing me away as far as the trailers go wasn't super high because like it's not like it's a Spider-Man or like any like big name superhero. It's you know a bunch of villains and anti-heroes coming together to basically do a Suicide Squad. So yeah, we'll see. Hopefully they'll release that full trailer sometime soon and actually get like a real look at it. There were a couple of other things teaser announced, but again, nothing else like super major as far as I could tell. Um, I was a little surprised that there were no new Marvel movies announced. Like, I guess that they're overcorrecting from that one Comic Con where they just announced everything under the sun for the next 5 years, and half of
Mhm.
that got either canceled or delayed.
Yeah, I mean, some of that was unprecedented, just life stuff. But yeah, probably they're
Right.
probably like, maybe we shouldn't do this anymore.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I would have liked to hear at least an update on Shang-Chi 2 or Doctor Strange 3 or Moon Knight if he's coming back anywhere, or just confirmation that Blade exists as a project, or
It's only
if
ever gonna
Eternals
be
2
one
is
Blade.
actually canceled, or like any given thing. Like there's Armor Wars, that's something else that was a show, then a movie,
So
and then
many
maybe
things.
not, or maybe.
There's so many things that are just like maybe happening, and it's yeah. I mean, like I don't know, like all those things you mentioned are like, yeah, that's literally it could be any of these things, and it's
Yeah,
just like, where's this?
yeah,
Where's that? Are we doing this? Are we doing
no
that?
idea.
No,
Even we don't
maybe.
know. Okay, sure, why not? Um, well, anyway, uh, kind of sticking with Disney. Um, Deadpool Wolverine has officially passed $1 billion at the box office, and it has
Woo!
also officially passed 1.1 million at the box office, making it the highest grossing R-rated movie of all time.
Woo!
Yes, very good. The Joker, I think, was 1.07, and this was 1.0, 1.1 something now. So yeah, it's that's good.
Yeah, well deserved and good money.
Oh yeah, like Disney and Marvel especially, like really needed a win right now, and this was definitely that. Not obviously, not every movie is gonna be a Deadpool and Wolverine. Not every movie like has the star power. Not every movie is this kind of movie, but but this can at least give some kind of goodwill for Marvel stuff going forward. So hopefully this can kind of transition into, assuming it's good. That is also another thing. Assuming that the new Captain America is good, which looking like it probably will be at least solid. You know, hopefully that can at least ride off the coattails at least a little bit. So yeah, yeah. I have officially rescinded my prediction of this being the highest grossing movie of the year. Inside Out completely busted any expectation that I had of that. I thought Deadpool Wolverine's cap was 1.4. Um, Inside Out 2 is well past that.
Yeah.
So still. the top two highest grossing movies being Disney movies. I'm sure they're very happy about that. So now moving over to movies that didn't break the box office. Um, Two movies came out around the same time that I think both tell a very interesting story. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you the name of one of these movies. I'm going to give you the budget of this movie. And then I want you to guess how much money it made opening weekend. If you get either the domestic or the worldwide box office total correct, I'll give you the point. Okay?
Oh, okay.
Okay. So the first movie is a movie I wouldn't be surprised if you hadn't even heard it even came out or even exists. The first
Oh
movie
boy.
is Harold and the Purple Crayon, starring Zachary Levi. You know anything
I
about
have
that?
heard of this. I have heard of this, but not for good reason.
Yeah, the first trailer I saw for it was right before the second time I saw Deadpool. I'm like, this movie looks very dumb. It's a kids movie based on a storybook like for kids. It's about this kid who has this crayon that lets like whatever he draws with the crayon comes to life. And there's a villain that wants the crayon for some nefarious reason or whatever. So yeah,
So it's Chalk Zone, but not.
yeah.
You remember? Do you remember that
Oh
show?
yeah. Oh, I love Shark Zone. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Right.
hmm
Noted.
but yeah, in this
Okay.
movie, for some reason, Harold is all grown up and he's Zachary Levi, but he like comes into the real world because we're apparently stuck in 2008. We're still doing that, I guess. So he's here now, and his crayon still works the same in the real world, and I don't know. It looked incredibly dumb. It's also one of the trailers where, like, as you watch the trailer, it's like, oh, I saw the whole movie, so I don't even need to see it. Just watch the 2 minute trailer and you've seen the whole thing. So this movie had a very respectable $40 million budget. Going through the
Okay.
trailers, you could tell it was a cheaply made movie, although it is a kids movie, so you don't really expect that much out of it. So, $40 million budget for a movie that came out the week after Deadpool and Wolverine. So keep all that in mind.
Oh.
And I don't
Yeah.
even think they spend half that amount on marketing because, again, I didn't even know it existed until right before
No.
watching Deadpool Wolverine. The day it came out, actually. Like the day this
Yeah.
movie came out, I saw the first trailer for it.
Yeah. This movie had like no marketing. I never saw a trailer for. It. I just heard of it because it was basically it was a meme. It was like, hey, this movie you've never like. I think there was a meme where it was like the one screen in your theater showing something other than Deadpool this
Uh
weekend. It was like Hero the Magic Hero, and I was like, what the heck is that?
huh.
But oh gosh, okay.
So, how
How
much
much
money
did
do you
they
think it made
open?
opening
Oh,
weekend?
okay. You said $40 million
$40 million
budgets.
budget.
Not a lot of budget. No advertising or marketing. Right after, oh, this is like nothing. This is like single digits. Oh man, I don't know. Well, maybe not that low. Well, maybe I don't know. Uh, I'll say what, like 10 million?
You overshot.
I overshot.
It made $6 million domestic.
Oh.
Yeah.
I feel like there won't be a sequel.
No. Uh-uh.
Wait. What about? Okay, wait. So that was opening weekend. Okay, so like, what did it make total? Like, is there like, did they even reach 10 million at all?
I was about to check. It made
Oh
It made 8
gosh.
million opening weekend worldwide, and
Okay.
I know at one point I checked it had 12 million. Um, I think from what I'm seeing on Box Office Mojo, it's sitting at $21 million, which is half its production budget. Which again, not including marketing,
Wow.
not including a bunch of other factors that obviously,
Right.
the studio only gets about half of that. The theater takes half, so it just they basically made $10 million, but really they lost $30 million at least.
No, they lost a lot. Like
Yeah.
it's weird because it's like a low. You would think like low investment, low risk, but like nah, you
Mhm.
lost. Like you
No,
only
like
gambled $5 and you lost all $5.
uh-huh. You 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 lost $5 and someone stole $20 you didn't even know you had. Like
It took $20 out of your wallet.
mhm.
Oh
$21
gosh.
million dollars. Like that's I know it's a
To
kids
be
movie and they surely they can't expect like that
well,
much, but
on paper, despite Deadpool's insane popularity, the demographic targets are entirely different on paper because it is a rated R
yes.
movie, so you would think
Yes.
kids would go see it, but it's a not just any rated R movie, it's an R-rated Marvel movie. So
Yes.
kids are still gonna go see it. But
Yeah.
I
And there were
guess on
children at
paper
the
you
at the theater I went to, and a
oh
dog. There was a
yep.
dog at the one actually I went to the second time.
What? There's a
Yeah.
dog in the theater?
Yeah,
You
like
can
as we
do
were
that?
leaving, I saw someone holding a dog. I was like, "Hey, look, a dog!" It didn't bark or anything the whole time, so cool. But that was a dog.
Complete side tangent for just a
Yes.
second.
Uh,
So I understand service dogs exist and are a thing,
mm.
but like, if I'm allergic to dogs, am I just
Oh.
like, you know what I mean? Like I'm
Um.
not. But if I was, I feel like that would be like, yes, your serving dog is valid, but also I can't go to the movies with a dog in the theater.
Right. I. I want to say I could be completely wrong about this, but I'm 80% certain that dogs that are certified service animals, not emotional support animals, those are very different. Certified service animals are specifically bred to be hypoallergenic. So I don't think you can be allergic to them. I could be wrong about that. That makes sense to me, and I think there's like specific breeds that like most people who are allergic to dogs aren't allergic to, and those are specifically picked to be service animals. So
Okay.
ideally, if it is a service animal, like an actual like for a service animal and not an emotional support animal, you should be fine. But you know, service animal people for some reason rope that in with emotional support, which is not the same thing. And those are not.
Right.
Yeah, you would be screwed
At
if they did
all.
that. Yeah.
Right. That's I don't know. That's just something like it's just stuff like that I just think about. So I'm just kind of like
Mm,
I get everybody wants to be like I don't know. I just like it's one of those things where it's like there's been a lot of situations where dogs have just kind of been in places, and I'm just kind of like, wow, if I
mm,
was allergic to dogs, I would be like freaking out right now.
right.
Like like people just bring their dog to the grocery store, and you're just like, oh, or like
Mm,
even at work, like I'll just be at the hospital, and there's just someone's just like they've got their giant golden retriever, and I'm just like,
hmm,
I feel like shouldn't be able to do that,
yeah.
but you know,
Yeah. I found out when I was working in my previous job that there's a thing called emotional support horses. Sorry, service animal that are horses.
wait, they have those?
Yeah, on the little like on the sheet we had to fill out with people that brought animals in order to confirm if it was a service animal. On the sheet, the first question was, "Is this an emotional support dog or an emotion? Or sorry, is this a service dog or horse?" I never saw a mini horse that was a support animal, but apparently they exist.
Sport horse is crazy.
Yes. Apparently you can't have a service. There's no service pigs or cats or whatever else, but dogs and horses
There's a
apparently are service animals.
horse.
Yeah,
There's a. I mean, okay. I guess the horse thing is like I get like maybe in terms of like getting around, maybe, but like as
I think
far
they're
as
like
which
mini
now that
horses,
now
so
that
they're
makes
like they're short.
oh, so we're talking like little Sebastians, like
Yes.
okay, oh, okay, I guess that's different. I don't know. That's still kind of wild to me,
Yeah.
but
I never saw one. I kind of wish I had, but that's apparently a
I kind of
thing.
I hold on. All right, we gotta Google. Hang on. Emotional. He says emotional
It was
support
a serv specifically a service animal.
service. Did you mean hours? No.
Yeah, miniature
Even
horses
Google.
as service animals. That's the thing.
Oh nope, it's a thing. Wait a minute. What
They
can
have
they
little
do?
vests. They're
Oh my
aren't they
goodness.
adorable?
Is it just me or do they look like rides on the merry-go-round and not real? Like I'm sorry, but they do. Like I don't know. Like I'm
It's something
looking at
you
some
put
of
a
these
quarter
images
in,
and I'm
just
like,
ride, and just go up and down.
yes, yes. This looks like something posted up outside of a grocery store with a rusty quarter slot. Yes.
uh,
Like I, oh my god, I don't think I've ever seen one of these in real life, and it's like breaking my brain. It's
yep.
like putting a horse head on like a, I don't even know. That's so okay. So how do these even work? I don't. I'm so
I don't know.
confused by like miniature horses. Like, is there just another breed? Like, is just another type of horse, just like baby-sized horses? That's just the thing always, or is it like certain types? Or I don't know. That's
Yeah, I
weird.
know that like there are horses that are like bred to be mini horses. So
I guess that I don't know. It's like
yeah,
oh, that's wild.
yeah. Um, Anyway, yeah, you would
Sorry, giant
go
tangent.
back to the no, that's great. Go back to the original topic. It logically makes sense, like you said, to put Harold and the Purple Crayon kind of
Oh right.
as counter programming to Deadpool. Like the week after, everyone's already seen Deadpool, so now they
Right.
want to see this. You want to take their kids to this kids movie. No, people still wanted to go see Deadpool.
I mean, yeah, Deadpool was awesome, so you want to go see it more than once for the most part. But yeah, also
Mhm.
just like even though it's rated R, like, yeah, there, like you said, there are children going to see this movie. Just like a lot of other stuff I'm seeing lately. It's like, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, they're not making that 40 million back anytime soon.
Yeah, I think that ship has sailed, but I
Yeah.
mean, it
Well,
happens. It is what it
yeah.
is.
And it's gonna happen a second time because next up in this little game, we have the Borderlands movie.
Oh, that's right.
Yep. Starring a bunch of really famous actors who are way too old to be playing these characters. This movie had a disgusting $120 million budget.
Whoa, we did?
Yes. $120 million budget. And I just again, the
Oh
first time I
no.
like sat down and saw the trailer for this movie was the first time I saw Deadpool Wolverine with my brother. And like towards the end of the trailer, my brother turned to me and was like, "Is that gonna be any good?" And I turned to him and I was like, "No, that might be one of the worst movies of all time."
Oh,
And he looked because even the people that like Borderlands don't like it for the story. They don't really love it for the characters, really. They like it for the gameplay. Like it's a very fun game to play. And yeah, the characters can be funny, but like it's also a very annoying game to play. Like if you're not in it, like it's one of those games where characters just say a lot of stuff. Like they never run out of dialogue options. They just talk and talk and talk. And you're in a group of people that just talk. Like there's a little robot sidekick character. Like it's just there's a lot of stuff happening at any given time, but you kind of drown it out because the guns are fun to shoot with. Um, but in a movie, you don't really have that. So yeah. All that being said, $120 million budget, released 2 weeks after Deadpool Wolverine. How much money do you think Borderlands made in its domestic opening weekend?
Okay. $120 million budget. Clearly didn't reach that. 2 weeks after Deadpool, so a little more time, but the demographics more in line with Deadpool because this movie is, I'm guessing, PG-13,
Yes.
probably.
Yeah.
So,
It's very much so their attempt at making a Guardians movie, and it was not even close to have the same vibe as a Guardians movie. Not even close to
ooh,
as good.
feels like a very tough whiff right there.
Yeah.
Okay. Opening weekend, I'll
Hmm.
probably say 100. You said $120 million budget.
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna go with 22 million.
He hasn't made $22 million yet. Do you want to try again? It's sitting currently at $20.7 million. So, do you want to try again to guess how much it made opening week?
Oh, zero. Okay. So like probably less than half of that. Oh my God. Okay. All right. It's at 20 million now. I mean, they
Yeah,
initially probably made like what, like nine?
8.8.
Jesus. Oh, $120 million budget? Who
Yep.
funded this?
Sony, I think.
Wow. That
Yes.
is a lot of money lost.
Yeah. Like that legitimately might be one of the biggest box office bombs of the year.
I mean,
Like,
I might be one. I mean, that's insane. $120 million
like
for eight.
it's apparently going direct to digital at the end of this month. It was
Uh,
released 1st of August. It's going to digital end of August.
oh, oh,
Its
oh,
cap is 30 million.
if that.
If that.
Uh, oh, oh, dear. Wait, this cast is crazy. Wait a minute.
Right? Like
This
it's
wait, what?
yeah, Kate Blanchett, Ariana Greenblatt,
Jamie, Jamie
Jamie Lee
Lee
Curtis.
Curtis, Jack Black, Kevin Hart. Oh my
Yeah.
God! What? Wait, what? What is this
Exactly.
movie? What in the world? I almost want to like film study this. I'm so confused by like.
Mhm. Like, and and again, outside of Ariana Greenblatt, who's supposed to be playing like a little girl character, every other actor is a solid 10 plus years older than the characters they're supposed to be playing. Like, actually,
Oh,
most of them are over 20 years older. Because Kate Blanchett's character is like a 20 something, like a scavenger bounty hunter person. Jamie Lee Curtis is like maybe in her 40s in the game, whereas obviously she's older than that. Like, I don't understand why these people were picked.
this is yeah, this is wild. Like, I
Hmm.
ain't gonna lie, it looks kind of dumb, but
Right?
I mean, I've never played these games. One of my best friends loves these games.
Hmm.
So I'm like, I'm not sure, but at the same time, looking at what I'm looking at, I can't tell if this is supposed to be really accurate or just looks really stupid.
Like I
Or
say,
both.
every single poster is framed exactly like a Guardians of the Galaxy poster, and
Yes, even the
I
colors
guarantee
match.
that's on purpose. Like every trailer had like a
Oh
pop
yeah.
song to it, like it was all colorful. Like it trying way too hard to ride that wave, and it just doesn't make it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know about that. That looks pretty rough.
Yeah, $120 million. It might make 30.
Wow.
Yeah,
I mean,
like at least Harold, there wasn't that big of a investment. So over time, it might eventually make it back with digital release and DVDs and whatever else. But whoever made this is never seeing even half of that budget back. Not even
no.
close.
I mean, you're barely gonna get a quarter.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fun.
That's awful.
Yeah, and like, and I thought we were over this. I thought we were kind of past the point where video game movies had to be terrible. Obviously, just like any movie, not every video game movie is going to be, a knockout winner. But, with Mario being pretty solid, with Last of Us being, really good, even with Mortal Kombat being like bad, but in like kind of a fun, dumb action movie kind of way, I thought we were over this overwhelmingly negative Rotten Tomatoes score level action slop video game movie, but apparently not.
No idea. I mean, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, well, what can you do?
I mean, be better. I mean, to be
Yeah,
honest, don't do that. I
yeah,
mean,
honestly. It's the kind of thing, obviously, again, I haven't actually seen the movie, but I've seen people online talk about just how absolutely terrible it is. These are the kind of movies that I feel more people should see so that when they complain about stuff like the Marvels or the Acolyte or XYZ, any given
mm,
thing that is overall fine, if them calling that the worst movie, show, series, whatever that they've ever seen,
made
you need to watch other things that are actually terrible.
right.
Like, no, The Marvels is not one of the worst movies, not even one of the worst superhero movies ever made. It's there is significantly worse stuff out there. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I mean that's the thing. You got like it's perspective. People don't realize that oh, this is the worst thing ever. It's like, is it? Or is this just the worst thing you've seen recently? Versus this is actually gonna be terrible later
Yeah.
on too.
Or do you just live in an always online sphere where for some reason the nature of the beast makes is that you have to have overwhelmingly positive or negative reaction to something? You can't just say it's fine. Like that's not possible anymore. Apparently, you have to say it's the best or worst thing ever. Like
Yes, which
this is
I
clearly with a
don't
7 on Rotten Tomatoes, one of the worst things ever.
like.
Last I checked, it was a 7.
7. I think that's the new record. I think the previous lowest I'd ever seen was 9.
I
So
mean, there's been
that's
some, as far as like movies that we actually care about. That's about as low as it's gonna ever get. Hopefully, as
yeah,
low as it's ever
no.
gonna
I mean
go.
that's no. I mean that's yeah. 7 is insane. Like the fact that you like went to this movie, you were like, out of 100, this movie gets a 7 is
Well, like, I mean, technically, Rotten Tomatoes is a percentage of critics who liked it and then gave it like a 60 or higher. So, but only 7% gave it a 60 or higher, which is still not good. But, yeah. Like,
no.
Some of the people may, very well may have given it a 7 out of 100. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, no.
No.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I just know.
Like I don't know if this movie is actually worse than Catwoman. I can't imagine many movies that are worse than Catwoman, but
No.
critics definitely didn't like it.
I mean, both can be awful, but to say it's worse is
Yeah,
like that's impressive.
yeah. Well, for the movie industry's sake, I hope that's the biggest bomb of the year. But who knows? Um, is there anything else you want to bring up or discuss before we sign off?
Uh, I don't think so. I think that's all I got.
All right. So with that, we will see you all next time.
Take care.